Welcome everybody to Class REDACTED, the show where we delve deep into the terrifying world of SCP and focus on the more unknown parts of this universe. I am your host Ritley, today only being joined by sadly only two guests. V was not able to make it in due to personal reasons, but we still are doing this episode regardless because the topic is very small. Like you've probably seen from the length of this episode, it's probably going to be our shortest one, but it's still going to be pretty cool. But Silver and Beds are still here. They're still around. Say hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Howdy.
They're still here. And since the fuckers, I don't know, have no life and fucking stalk me, they already know the topic, so I don't have a surprise today because I wanted to have a little bit of a clue today, but the fuckers just got it anyway. But regardless, we're doing SCP-049, the Plague Doctor, today. Because I was thinking of a good topic to pick for in preparation for our next big episode, because I have a very big one planned, but the research and shit is a little bit too much, and so I said we'll do a smaller topic today, and then next week we'll do the big topic that I've probably teased in some episode. I don't remember, but it's gonna be there. But yeah, Plague Doctor time. You probably two already know a lot about the Plague Doctor, because he is the Plague Doctor. He's one of the biggest SCPs around.
Yeah?
Yes.
No, his cure is most effective.
Oh, of course, he is the cure.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But I still have picked out some more unknown and more deep lore about the Plague Doctor, which I can talk about now because we did the Wanderer's Library, and now you guys get the whole multiverse canon bullshit. So I can now yoink stories from other canons, which is pretty cool. So yeah, probably all of you who are watching already know who the Plague Doctor is, or at least have seen him, because next to 096-173-682, he is one of the original big SCPs. He's one of the first SCPs ever to actually get an article, and his old article was terrible. It was fucking garbage. It was straight terrible. But it got rewritten a few years ago to get it up to modern SCP standards. And it's now actually pretty good. It's really good. And yeah, that's basically the story of the out-of-lore story of the Plague Doctor. But now let's get into who he is and get a little bit of a refresher in how he actually works. So, the Plague Doctor, or SCP-049, is a humanoid entity around 2 meters in height, 1.9, give or take, and he looking like a medieval Plague Doctor, very on the nose there. I'll still get a picture because he looks amazing, and I want you guys to see his glory. Look at the man. Discord can't upload because, I don't know, my internet is dumb, but I'll do it in post later. There he is.
The man.
There's the man.
Yeah.
Look at his glory.
Such nice blue
him.
eyes.
Oh yeah. His robe, that outfit actually is also him, because the outfit he's wearing is not normal clothing, but it actually grew outside of his body as time passed. The robe is made of like a skin-like tissue, and the mask is made out of bone, and they grew out of his face. So it's you can't. So yeah. So he is that robe. That's him. It's actually like skin. So when his robe gets shot, he gets hurt too. It's pretty. Not really. He looks pretty cool, but not very effective. Not very, very smart choice there, buddy. But of course, the Foundation has X-rayed him, and he has a normal human skeleton underneath, has normal human body structure. They didn't see anything. The man's also pretty fluent in multiple languages. His main languages are English and an old medieval French, because he was actually discovered back in a French town, and he himself says that he came from France during the 15th century, making him around 700-600 years old, give or take. So he's around as old as the Foundation is. In at least what most canons say, he's as old as the Foundation itself. Of course, the big thing about 049 is his obsession with an illness called the Pestilence, which he has been trying to figure out for the better part of his life. If someone is infected with this pestilence, 049 becomes very angry and gets very aggressive towards subjects with the pestilence. However, if they're not infected, he will be very cooperative and is very cooperative with the Foundation, and he frequently gives interviews and sometimes even works with staff from the Foundation to do medical shit, because he's like a medical man, because he's like actually a scientist. He's actually really smart. Like he's not just this weird man who keeps killing people who thinks they're infected. He's actually a pretty smart man. He knows his medical stuff.
Yeah.
Like an actual doctor, which many people forget when they talk about 049. But yeah, going back to the whole pestilence infected thing, if 049 is not checked on, is left unchecked, 049 will try to kill the afflicted person who has this pestilence that he's referring to. He is quote-unquote curing them, which we will be learning a lot later about what this curing process actually means or is to him. How does he kill people? 049 is capable to cease all biological functions inside an organism just by touching them. I mean, you all know about containment breach and how the Plague Doctor is also in that game, and when he does what it says on the tin, he touches you and then you die.
Yep.
Very, very simple way of dealing with problems. After killing the subjects, the Doctor will carry the corpses back to his lab and perform some kind of surgery, some crude surgery on the subjects. It says crude because the guy he knows his medical stuff. He does not know how to do surgery. Like he randomly cuts people open, cuts random parts of his hand, like his hand off, and like, yes, hand.
Yes,
but it works, so...
Yep. And also, I can give good picture because, I ordered the SCP art books, and these guys, they frequently do like preview pages, and I have preview pages of the Plague Doctor's article.
Oh, fuck.
And it takes ages because they're gigantic, but
Oh.
I will give pictures. I will also link them in the, like, look at them. Look at them. It's great.
Oh, that's
Look at it.
awesome.
Look at this guy. He's so cool.
Yes, that's indeed a hand.
Yep. That is, the second picture is actually how they found him. Because, like, a picture of how he was discovered. Because the Foundation, good segue by the way, I'm a king, found the Foundation found them in oh god, French name, Montauban, I think it's Montauban, so Montauban, French town in France. They found him in the town in France, and after lots of people went missing there for unknown reasons, so the Foundation stepped in, sent some MTF units in there, and then they discovered 049 himself, and also another type of creature, which would then later be known as SCP-049-2 instances. These instances are created after 049 performs surgery on corpses. They are basically zombies. They're reanimated corpses created via his surgery. They don't have any mental functions. They're like brain dead. They're like zombies. They only have motor functions and basic like reaction properties. So, but they don't have a brain anymore. They can't think. They can just walk and attack people. That's all their job is basically to do. However, SCP-049 is able to command the instances of 049-2 as he pleases. So it's like a hive mind that he can control himself. And the MTF dudes found these zombies there, and that's what you see. You see the MTF dudes fucking bodying the zombies in the background. And then you see the man, the Plague Doctor, currently doing surgery, and while they were bodying the zombies, the Plague Doctor was like standing in the back taking notes, constantly like, yes. I see.
Research.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowledge. And yeah, after the MTF dispatched all the 049-2 instances, 049 willingly entered Foundation custody and is now automatically contained because he actually wanted to see what the Foundation was up to. Because like he's a man of research, also he's a doctor, so he fits right in. That is the gist. That's all everybody knows about 049. You know about his wonderful things that he does.
Oh yeah.
But of course, 049 is a lot more complicated than that, because originally that's where his main article ended. It was very simple, very bare bones, and very boring. But as the article was updated, they added a ton of interview logs to the article. The first one was basically right after the initial investigation was conducted, and there was an interview with an individual known as Dr. Ham, and I could like read it all, but those interviews are actually voice acted by people, and so why not play them?
Alors, comment devrions-nous commencer une introduction?
Is that French? Can we get a translator?
The King's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough.
Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I...
Ah, a doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your speciality, sir?
Cryptobiology. Why?
A medical man, such as myself. Wonders abound. And here, I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. This place, then, this is your laboratory. I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge. The great dying. Come now, you know the... what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures.
When you say the great dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I see. Right, well, the entities our agents encountered at the house, they were dead when you encountered them, yes? You reanimated them.
In a manner of speaking, you see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment that exists in the world of men, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill. All of them.
You think you cured those people?
Indeed. My cure is most effective.
But the things we recovered were not human.
Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come with time, and further experimentation. I have spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham, and will spend a lifetime more, if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to do. I will require a laboratory of my own, one where I can continue my research unimpeded. And assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own. In time.
Oh, I don't think our organization would be willing to...
Nonsense. We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. Our work begins now.
Yeah, that was the first interview. He's a very chill man. Like 049 is not. He's not like. he's not like aggressive towards researchers, except if they provoke him, which we come later. But first of all, he's happy to be in the Foundation's like custody, not custody, but in the Foundation's presence, because like he's a man of science himself. So
Yeah.
he's surrounded
He's
by
among his
like-minded
fellow men.
individuals. Yeah, he's a fellow scientist. His methods are questionable, but he is still a smart guy. And I think this interview shows it very, very well. Also, I like the final line that he says, "Fetch your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. There is work to be done."
Yeah.
I like him. I like 049. He's cool. He's really fucking awesome.
Really over the top.
Oh yeah, he's really over the top, like crazy scientist, man. It's great. The second, now, of course, then some time passed, and there were originally, he was just chilling. He got his own like small makeshift laboratory in his containment cell, and the Foundation frequently provides him with corpses, to basically help him figure out what this pestilence is that these people are suffering from. However, his experiments often were quite crude, to say the least. One of those was a experiment where they gave him a corpse of a cow or a goat, I think.
Well, they gave him
And-
both at one point.
Yeah, they gave him both, and he created this thing, which is uploading now, but I'll cut it later. He created that. Not a fan of the weird sewn together
What?
bloody goat. Yeah, he sewed together the cow and the goat corpses into this thing, which
Oh.
is So yeah,
What personified?
he's a doctor, but his methods are questionable.
Yeah.
Okay, Frankenstein, stop it.
Oh yeah. After this horrible abomination was created, Dr. Ham had a follow-up interview with 049, where they wanted to get where they wanted to understand his work, basically. And like with the first interview, it's better that you listen to it than read it.
We've watched you work for several weeks now, and honestly, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing. Could you describe your process in detail?
Oh, goodness, no. The process is most intensive. As I said to your assistant, the best instruction you will find about my methods are here in my journals, as I have kept exhaustive records of my work there.
I see. Well, my concern, Doctor, is that we still don't understand what you're seeking to cure, or how it manifests, or how turning these creatures into quasi-living, mindless drones helps in that effort.
You do not understand the pestilence, even after all this time. Doctor, it is an unspeakable horror, one that has shown its true face many times before, and will again. I find myself blessed with the wisdom and good senses needed to root it out and destroy it. But many, like yourself, cannot. It is a cruel judgment, I fear, to be at the mercy of a disease you cannot fully comprehend.
That still doesn't answer my question. How's your cure any kind of cure at all?
It is a cure. You may laugh at my efforts if you please, but do not besmirch the good name of scientific progress that has developed this great mercy. What you short-sightedly see here is a life better than any this creature could have hoped for. Stricken as it was with the pestilence, this creature is now clean, unable to spread the pestilence, and free from the terror it would have experienced otherwise.
This is hardly a creature at all, Doctor. It's not even...
Do not jape with me, sir. You and your colleagues are like so many others, unable to look past minor setbacks to see the salvation taking place before your very eyes. Do you wait to remove rotten timbers until the whole collapses on top of you? No. You find them and you pull them out and replace them with those untouched by rot. And most of all, you do not simply mock the structure because it now looks different to you. It is strong. It is free of disease.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to agitate you. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes. Well, do mind your words in the future, Doctor. I am a professional, but even professionals may feel the bite of pride in dealing with criticism of their masterpiece. I will forgive this as an act of good faith between colleagues.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that will be all. Another test subject on the usual schedule. You know my preference of subjects with more human anatomies.
Good. And so yeah, you can see after that interview, he's not too keen, or the Foundation is not too keen on understanding how his methods. They're very weird. They don't really think that he is a cure for anything, because he just kills people. Like, his cure is killing them, which is not really the best way of treating an injury or a disease. But he says it's working, or like it's almost perfect. Sorry, his cure is almost perfect. I'm sorry. I don't wanna insult him or anything.
Yeah.
But his Foundation's not too keen on that whole curing process. Shortly after the initial containment of 049, of course, Dr. Ham was the main guy who watched over 049. And one day, I think, yeah, here it is, on the 16th of April, 2017, Dr. Ham entered 049's test chamber to conduct another routine interview, like it was always. However, 049 was not really ready for an interview. Like, he was standing in the back, like, staring at Dr. Ham as he entered the containment chamber. And the moment Ham took one step forward, 049 lunged at him, touched him, and killed him. Through 4 unknown reasons. And so, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered. It was brought back it was taken by SCP-049 until 3 hours past the incident, where the Foundation MTF units found him as an instance of 049-2. So he was killed by 049, cured, quote unquote, and reanimated as a corpse. In the aftermath of this incident, another interview with another doctor, Dr. Sherman, was conducted, where it really shows the Foundation right now is not happy about 049's thing that he has done.
I need you to explain yourself. SCP-049, you are being directed to explain your actions, and I will remind you that failure to cooperate will result in further restrictions during your containment.
My actions do not need to be explained.
You killed Raymond Ham, and then butchered him until he...
Not dead. No, not dead. He is cured.
Cured? Cured of what?
The pestilence, sir. I had thought you, at least, would realize what luck it is. I detected it before.
What pestilence? You keep going on and on about this pestilence, but you have not once been able to properly identify this disease. What could you have possibly seen in him today that you had not seen so many times before, that it would be worth his life?
The pestilence presents and progresses in unforeseeable fashions, and has a queer way of creeping into the unprepared. And call it what you want, Doctor. It was a mercy I did to him. He is cured.
He is a vegetable.
I would not expect you to understand. You and your ilk have proven time and time again not to be men of science, but men of emotion. You cannot appreciate the horrors I have seen. Those many millions who have succumbed to the pestilence and been changed.
Your cure cost Ray his life.
No, good sir. I have saved it. You would allow this world to slip back into the despair of disease and death, ignoring that I have created a miracle. And
What disease? What pestilence? He was a healthy man. He was a good doctor.
I'm offering it freely to the afflicted. You are not worth this argument, sir. You are short-sighted and foolish. Dr. Ham was sick, and I cured him. I am the only one who can do this. My work must continue. There is still so much to learn, so much
I've had
to
enough
do,
of this.
and others
Consider your allowances
can be
revoked.
saved. Even you.
Welcome to containment,
you know,
049.
might be saved.
We're done here.
I can save them all. I can cast down this plague once and for all. I can do this. Only me. I saved him. Dr. Ham. I cured him. He was sick. I know he was sick. I know he was. And you are all sick, but I can save you. I can save all of you because I am the cure.
So, like you could hear, not very happy. Not very happy. But 049 was very, very sure of himself. He was very confident that he saved Dr. Ham, quote unquote, from whatever the fuck that cure or that pestilence is he was talking about. Post-incident, a few days later, following the incident, another interview was conducted with a guy known as Elijah Itkin, who we will be talking about later, and who did an interview, a follow-up interview, 3 weeks after the initial investigation of 049. And this interview, I think, shows very well where 049 currently stands and how he currently behaves as a person.
SCP-049, we are conducting this interview to close out our investigation of your actions taken on April 16th that resulted in the death of a staff member. Do you have any comments to make? Only that I look forward to the day when you will allow me to resume my work. I have spent the last few weeks compiling my notes and constructing a new theory for how the pestilence was able to infect someone in such an insidious manner that I nearly couldn't detect it. Have you experienced any remorse for your actions? For the death of Dr. Ham? Ah, yes. Well, the death of a colleague is always regrettable. But in the face of the pestilence, we must be swift, Doctor, and act without hesitation. Dr. Sherman noted in his report that you seemed to be mournful during your initial interview. Mourn? Perhaps. I had not thought that. It is lamentable that a fellow doctor became infected, but the work continues. Regrettable as it was, Dr. Ham's death provided important insight. Living human subjects are the only way to proceed forward, I am decided. My cure is of little use on dead flesh, and I have gleaned all I can from your generous supply of corpses. My desires turn towards tending to those still living who suffer from the disease. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. Oh, Doctor, I wouldn't be so sure.
Alright, so as you can see, SCP-049 is very, very devout and very devoted to his cause, and he thinks that when he gets the live subjects, he will be able to cure whatever the fuck it is that 049 wants to cure. This is where the article ends. This is where the 049 article stops, and I could cut it there, but of course, with the nature of this podcast, we always want to go a little bit deeper into what happens. And if you look at the article, the last line that Doctor says, the 049 says, is a link. And that link brings you to a tale known as Going Home. I won't be explaining the entire tale, but in short, Going Home is about 049 and his experience with a character known as Leslie. And this name is a very, very Leslie, the name, is a very particular name because it's also a link to another SCP article, SCP-3774, in fact. Let me quickly get the name of the SCP. Here it is, SCP-3774. My heart beats faster for you. And it's pretty weird because this gets into a whole new like weird level of things, because what 3774 is, first of all, they're a neutralized SCP because all of the instances of the SCP have been terminated via the Foundation itself. And 3774 is a prototype insect robot. They're mosquitoes that have been genetically and cybernetically modified by the Foundation to be like little survey drones, like very small survey insects that can spy on particular persons of interest. These instances had photo recognition, a live video and audio broadcast, and access to a self-containing genetic database, and also they would emission a signal to show like global positioning of the person of interest. The Foundation used those insects to spy on like very important people for various groups of interest, notably the Church of Broken God, the Serpent's Hand, other groups like Are We Cool Yet, the Black Queen, also lots of other groups. They used these guys to spy on. They were actually terminated due to an incident known as SCP-3774-2432. I won't be going to it now because it's a long interview log, but it's pretty interesting. You can read it yourself. Links will be in the description as always. And this is weird because in the Going Home tale, this Leslie character links to that article of these mosquitoes, and it makes sense when you read it because it's this tale it's basically a tale about a woman who knows what the pestilence is and 049 curing her. I can't really explain it too deep without getting like into very deep lore, but it's really interesting. And the connection between 3774 and also the incident log and 049 is very interesting. So very good read. Read Going Home if you have the time on your hands, because it's a very good read and it gives a little bit more insight into what the cure is, what this pestilence is that he is, that the 049 is wants to talk about. But yeah, this is one of the main stories, but of course there's still more. And because in the footnotes of the article are also some links. I will be skipping some of them, but two are very specific. Number one is the link in footnote 6. The footnote reads, SCP-049 added to the statement by saying, this is, of course, elementary knowledge for the practical physician. I would have thought you would have learned this during your education. The practical physician he refers to is actually another character. And this character group is known as the Deaf and the Doctors, who some of you might have heard about. It's a very small hub. It's a very small collection of tales. But this is actually pretty interesting because this connects 049 to some other personalities that we will talk about later. And so keep that one in mind, that definite doctor's part. Definitely keep that one in mind. But I will not be talking about too deep because we'll get back to it when we get back to it. But he is part of this group, the definite doctor's part. However, the more important link is in footnote number 7. It says, notably, SCP-049's journals are not written in any known language, and attempts by linguists and codebreakers to decipher them have been unsuccessful. This any known language part is a link. You click on it, and you get transported to a completely different part of the SCP canon, and that's the Hanged King. The Hanged King's comedy, to be exact. Like, this is, for people who know the Hanged King, this is like, what the fuck? Like, the Hanged King and 049 are like miles between each other. The Hanged King is something totally different. We will not talk about the Hanged King because, no.
Oh, damn it.
This episode would be 2 hours long if I would talk about the Hanged... More if we would talk about the Hanged King.
Yeah.
Well, he gets his own episode.
Yeah,
I
because
have
if we
some-
talk about the Hanged King, we have
Yep.
to also talk about Alagada and the others.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. We have to talk about the Anguished Lord and the Mask 035.
Oh, yeah.
053? I think so. Yeah, the Mask. And we have to talk about lots of things. So, Hanged King gets his own episode, now 049. And the Hanged King's comedy is a collection of stories on the wiki, with most of them not being interesting, but the one that is interesting is the one called Pestilence in the Court of the Hanged King. And this story, first of all, it's written in a very old medieval English, like most of the Hanged King's things are, so it's very difficult to understand, but the broken down version is that the story goes that SCP-049, known as there it is. I think it's called the Black Beast in that story. Yeah, the Black Beast. It's actually portrayed as like a bird monster, like not as like a human with like plague doctor wear, but as like a full-on bird monster with like cawing and everything. So it's the Hanged King. Hanged King's always weird, but when I talk about the Black Beast or the Lord in Black, I'm talking about 049. And the story goes that 049 basically cannot find his book, his journal. And the story continues. Further. It doesn't really matter. It's a lot of weird stuff. But the important thing is in that story that the cure that he's talking about is in this book. And he cannot find the book for the cure. This tells us, if we want to interpret it that way, that because this is in his notes, like this is a story from his notes, that he's trying to remember the cure that he has lost in this scene. So he knows how to cure people, like he knows that there's a cure, but he lost the book that explains the cure, or that shows how to do it. And for all these years, he's been trying to reverse engineer basically this cure to get it to work somehow, because he lost the book. Which is very, very interesting, because we know that this pestilence does exist. That is confirmed now. We know that there's something wrong with humans, and that 049 sees it. However, the book, or the instructions that he would need to cure this pestilence, he is lost. And at the end of the story, the Anguished Lord, a character who we'll be not talking about now later, has a poem, like everything in Hanged King, explaining the situation. The poem goes: "The Lord of Black has heard your plea, his heart yet void of sympathy. The tome you seek is lost memory. The price you'll pay is your duty. Weather his presence and you'll see the crux of all, your surgery." Very weird, very cryptic, but Hanged King is always like that, SCP in general. But
Yeah.
you definitely can see that this tome, this book that he is the solution 4049. Once the Foundation finds this book, 049 can then actually like help him and be a very good member of, and can like find this disease that he's trying. The problem is, book hard to find. It technically would be in the library, technically, because the library.
Yeah.
But the Foundation isn't welcomed in the library, so getting that book is pretty difficult. But yeah, and I think this whole thing is a great story for a later reveal, like a later Hank King story, because the Foundation, this story, the Foundation cannot decipher, because, like I said previously, or like the footnote says, it is written in like a language that is not known to anyone. But we as the readers, like the meta area, we can read it. So we know what's going on, but the Foundation doesn't. And the moment they figure out that the 049 just needs this book, there will be a great story probably, where the Pestilence gets unveiled and everything. It's a pretty cool story. It's pretty cool. The deeper you go, the cooler the story goes. It's pretty nice. Also, because SCP fans are theory crafting bitches.
Yeah, we are.
Lots of some people have also been theorizing that the cure or the Pestilence is the thing that the Foundation found in 5000.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. So
Me too, honestly.
People think that the Pestilence is the thing, like this mind-numbing thing that the Foundation discovered in 5000, even though 049 never gets mentioned in 5000. But I think it's bullshit. I think it's total bullshit. But SCP fans, man, they like to connect everything. And fair, most of the things are connected in SCP, but I think it's a little bit very hard of a stretch, because 049, if that would be the case, 049 would have had a part in 5000, and it doesn't. So it's a little bit wide of a reach, but that's basically my opinion on the whole matter. But yeah, that's basically 049's main story. But before we end this, it was a very short episode, but yeah, I want to get one other article in, because I really like that article, and I want to shout it out a little bit, because I think it has way too little attention to it. The article is called SCP-094-Omega-K, and this is part of the End of Death canon, so where the concept of death has ceased. And this is one of my favorite stories, like, regarding 049, because if you know what about the End of Death canon, you know that in that canon, the concept of dying is no longer there. How does SCP-049 cure people? By killing them. So he, in a sense, lost his cure. And that story is amazing. It is great to see, because it gives 049 a lot more of like a human side to him. Because after losing his cure, or as he says it, I no longer have access to a necessary component of my cure. He breaks down. He's like devastated. Emotionally, he is destroyed. Because he can no longer cure people. In his mind, of course. And that story is amazing. And I really wanted to shout it out, because it's great. It's a great read. It's called the Persephone Project. Why, I can't tell because spoilers. But all of you who are watching, read 049 and all the things we talked about, and then read 049-Omega-K. And then, of course, because the entire End of Death canon has great stories about 682, because Undying. Bright also goes into the End of Death canon, because he's also immortal. And also another specific D-Class personnel that we will sometimes probably have an own episode on, because he's also pretty special. But regardless, go read 049-Omega-K. Great tale, great read. And that's basically it. That is the Plague Doctor. Very short topic for today, but I really wanted to talk about the guy, because he has been on my mind for a long time, and I really wanted to cover like the classic SCPs.
Yeah,
Because
he's one of the poster boys.
Oh yeah, because everyone knows about the classic SCPs, but the deeper you go, the more interconnected and the more like weirder it gets. And this is and that's what I personally really like. I like digging deep into the tales and links and following the links inside those links until
Yeah.
you get to a whole nother part of the canon, which you never thought that these two things were connected, but they somehow are through years of collaborative writing.
And that's
Which
how you
is-
use like hours of your day.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Just looking, I'm gonna give you a challenge, like all of the viewers here. Go find like a random SCP that you like read or found, and just start clicking on links, and see where you end up in the canon. Like go to, I don't know, SCP-882, like a Church of Broken God SCP, and try to follow the links until you're like, I don't know, at somewhere on like a different canon altogether. So it's really fun, and you'll learn a lot if you actually read all of it, because most of the big story points first like develop when you go to other SCPs. This approach kind of died out in the recent years because people focused more on one insanely long SCP, like 5000, like 599, for example. But yeah, that's like a fun challenge on the side that I wanted you guys to try out. So that's basically all there is to 049. He's a great character, even greater once you understand the Hanged King, but not now, later.
Yeah.
And also for the people wondering, no, the episode next week is not the Hanged King, because no, I have another part of the lore that I wanted to cover for the longest time, and we're finally doing it, and I'm very, very excited when we finally get to it. But you will see that next week. All of you YouTube watchers will see that next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually all about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.